What's up, my nerds? I'm the roleplay gamer, and I like to party. So is No Man's Sky fixed? You know what? Kind of. It kind of is. It's not what they promised us in all the marketing material and whatnot. And I don't care what anyone says. They did lie about some things. They absolutely did. It's not that, and I don't really think it's ever going to be that, especially considering the direction they've taken with this new update. So for those of you who don't know, I was kind of late to the party, so I don't know how widespread this information was. I missed it for several days. They have released a big free update for No Man's Sky, and it adds base building, of all things, and you can also hire a freighter and do a little bit of base building on the freighter, and it's basically this mobile base thing that you can call to any planet and use it as phone. My phone's going off. Shut up, phone. I hope you can't hear it. Anyway, and yeah, you can use your freighter as basically a means of alleviating the whole not enough storage space thing, which is kind of cool. It seems like some really nice quality of life options. But in terms of let's get back to the title question here. Is No Man's Sky fixed? For me, the biggest issue, before anything else, before the lies and the fact that the game was mostly boring, I just couldn't run it. The stuttering, if you remember my my coverage of the game at launch, card up at the top of the screen if you haven't seen that, if you're new to the channel. I was having real bad stutter, and by stutter I mean it was not low FPS. That was another issue. I mean, it was stuttering. It was freezing. Micro stutters, micro freezes as I was playing. It was maddening. It was actually unplayable. I couldn't hack it. So we're just walking through my base here, which I'll show off to you in a second. Where is that? Oh, okay, that's the big one up there. I won't show you that just yet. Yeah, so it was maddening and it was unplayable, and completely unacceptable. So I didn't, in fact, end up refunding it. But I saw that they've released this big update, and it was on sale to 40% off. So I thought I'll give it another go. Mostly because I want to answer some questions for you guys, because there are a few issues that most people are not talking about. It seems we're in this unfortunate situation at the moment where people are either hating on the game, perhaps rightly so, for the way it launched, and they're just never going to give it another chance, and that's their prerogative. And then you got people who are just kind of fanboying over, and they're like, oh, Hello Games, poor Hello Games, they need to cut them some slack and whatnot. I'm not going to comment on that whole narrative. But what's happening as a result of this is some key information is being lost or just not reported at all. I haven't found anyone talking about performance, which is what I want to know primarily. So, is it playable? Absolutely. It's night and day. Is it optimal? No. Not at all. Not at all, never. So the micro stutters are gone. As you can see, it's all very smooth. Unfortunately, look, at the moment, we're at about 40 FPS, 30 now, 39, 40, there you go. It's really fluctuating around the 30, 40 mark. That's because we've built up this base. So base building does seem to really bring down the frame rate, and I'll show you all that in a second. We get into a few more specifics about the base building. Okay, so this really chugs the frame rate. So let's see if we can get away from here. And there you go. Now it's roughly 60. So for the most part, with the settings where they are at the moment, and I will show you my settings, I get 55, 60, which for me, with a mouse, anything below 60 is annoying, especially when it fluctuates, because you can really feel with a mouse when the FPS fluctuates rapidly and frequently. Maybe I'm just oversensitive, possibly, but I just can't live like that. I've got to have a solid, even if it's a low frame rate, the frame rate has to be solid for me to be able to be comfortable using a mouse. So I am unfortunately using a controller here, and it is a lot more comfortable with a controller. It really is. The only thing that I don't like using the controller for is, of course, like shooting at sentinels and whatnot, naturally. But look, it is playable with a mouse, but in my opinion, for my money, it is annoying. But I have gotten it to a place where I am able to get more or less 60 frames, 55, 60, like I said. And it is, it's fairly consistent. With VSync on, I am forcing VSync using River Tuner just to avoid any potential hiccups with, that looks fairly impressive, doesn't it? Just to avoid any potential hiccups with my AMD drivers, because I know that they're a little bit finicky with VSync. So I've actually turned VSync off, and I'm forcing 60 FPS with River Tuner. And that's what's up. So you can move the mouse here. And it feels a little bit laggy. And part of it is like issues with the mouse anyway. It's even with, we're going to the options here. Options, what are we looking at? Sensitivity? Mouse smoothing. Mouse smoothing's down. We can probably just lower the sensitivity. Oh man, this is a nightmare, right? Can we get just like a proper mouse pointer? That'd be great. Actually, I can leave that. That should be fine. Does this fix the mouse? Okay, I might just have to turn that right down. Just for the sake of like being thorough here. I don't want to say like the mouse is like entirely crap and it's not fun with a mouse. I don't want to say that if it's not true, So right down. That's still, why is that so sensitive? It's not like it's not, there's nothing to apply here, right? That doesn't seem right. Move, look, sensitivity, flight is something different. So I don't know. It's like, I guess it's playable, but look, the mouse just feels a little bit janky. So that's why I'm using a controller. So that rant, out of the way. Microstutter's gone. The FPS is, you can adjust it to make it playable. These are my settings. This is more or less what it told me to set by default. I'm not full 1080p here because I've got a 21:9 monitor. I haven't tried 21:9 yet, which is something I should do, but I'm fine not playing in ultra wide. But otherwise, this is what it tells me to set by default. Whether this is based on my hardware or not, I cannot say. But this is... Let's turn motion blur off for a second. I haven't found that it affects FPS at all. And I probably shouldn't have it on for the video. But considering like the fluctuations in the frame rate, I find that the motion blur just kind of like masks it a little bit, because when you move really quickly you can feel the stutter. And of course, I'm being very nitpicky here, but why not? We're here, we may as well do it. But moral of the story is, for me at least, keep in mind that performance, this is something that people continue not to grasp. Performance is entirely not black and white. You and I could have very, very similar hardware, and we could have entirely different performance for whatever reason. It's a very, very odd state of affairs. Anyway, so, I'll just leave it there while I will talk about my system. I've got 16 gigabytes of RAM. I've got an i7 6700, and I've got an R9 390, 8 gigabytes of video RAM. And this is what I'm required to set it to. So I'm a little bit disappointed that I can't max it out. And from the moment that I am, with the exception of what we're looking at here, because like I said, the base really does mess you up. The rest of the world, due to the fact that I can get more or less a solid 60 frames a second in most of the world here, I don't know. I just feel like the game is really demanding, and it's not. Yeah, maybe it could use some more optimization. Look, I'm not by any means an expert or someone who even knows the first thing about optimization, so keep that in mind. But I just feel like it's a more demanding game than they let on. They really should up the system requirements on the Steam page. Anyway, so in terms of like how it looks, I think it does look a little bit better. I think it does. Previously, it was very bland. I think they did something to the lighting. I know they've updated the random generation system, so supposedly things are more varied and interesting. I think I think that's about right. You know, it's still not anything like what they led us to believe it would be like in screenshots and whatnot, the promotional material and all that. But it is better than the reality of, you know, the launch product. Anyway, all that out of the way. We talked for like 10 minutes about performance and whatnot. So I hope you hope you understand what I'm saying there. So let's just let's get back to the base here, and I'll finish up showing you that. I like the base building. It is simplistic but satisfying. I like the fact that we can put down like just all the landing pads we want, and NPC ships will come and land here. So I mean, if you're in the market for a ship, I absolutely see this as a means of, you know, getting more ships to possibly buy. You know, it's like ship bait, which I like that. So now you can also set down like save points and whatnot. I think those things in particular, the save points, can be put anywhere in the world, not just in your buildable area here. And you do have a limit to the space you can build in, and this is dependent on like outposts that you find. So you can't build just anywhere, but you can build in multiple locations, and you can pack up your base supposedly and move it to another system, another planet. Not quite. It's like you refund the materials you used to build this, and you rebuild somewhere else. Okay. Yeah. So there's some really nice additions. This is our area where we can hire crew. I've just got a weapons station and a construction station for the moment. I haven't got the other ones here because I had to delete them, because keep in mind there is actually a limit to the amount you can build. What I've got here, what I'm going to show you, yeah, it is kind of a little bit gratuitous in some of the walkways and whatnot, but this is actually the maximum that you can build by default. On PC, you can go into the INI files and increase the number of objects that you can place down, which I have now done. But what you're looking at right here is the default maximum. So I'm going to walk you through it. So this is what you start off with right here. So you come to an outpost that allows you to build, and I can't confirm whether there are multiple outposts that allow you to build on any given planet, or if there's just one per planet. That might be the case. Unfortunately, I can't confirm that for you. And you just go to this thing, you claim it, and you say this is your home world. This is the teleporter that takes you to presumably the nearest station. So you can it's basically fast travel between the ground and a station, which is handy. You know, the loading screens are still horrendous. that's out to the world there. So this all, you know, aside from this room, everything outside of it is stuff that I've built. So I wanted to see. Oh, also you can adjust the colors, and this is something I've done here. Now you'll have to let me know. This looks like hot pink. This is meant to be red. It looks like hot pink. I actually have an issue with what the colors look like in the preview don't seem to reflect what they look like in the world. And it could have to do with the lighting on this particular planet. That's certainly a possibility. But there you go. So I wanted to see how high we could build. So that's what I've done. We've got ground level. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There you go. This is the highest. You can't build higher than this. Actually, look, we may as well check. There you go. Base out of range. And here you go. This is my top landing pad. It's fairly high. You will probably die if you come off this. And most of these objects snap together. Not everything does, but what I've got here does snap together, which is handy. I got my big old ship here, and we are in creative mode here, just to speed up the process, because I wanted to see what was available. You know, I didn't want to have to go through all the survival and whatnot. So we do also have a normal mode, which is, you know, what the game launched as, and there's also a survival mode, which is meant to be more hardcore. I would like to try out the survival mode. So this is just creative, where you can gather resources and get money and whatnot, but it doesn't matter because you can build everything as it is. You can build everything as it is. So there you go. That's what the base is all about. It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I'm gonna get into my ship here, and we're gonna fly up to the freighter, and I'm gonna show you what the building is like there. It's substantially more limited. It's more functional. You know, that was I just like I made that word extremely gluttural, gluttural, really throaty and hard. I apologize for that. Okay, let's get out of the atmosphere here. So the whole transition from space to planet feels smoother. Again, you know, there were some people that had no performance issues on PC at launch. I don't know, you know, where it sort of sits in terms of like whether there were more people with performance issues or more people without. But I was unfortunately one of those that probably had the worst issues. Like that stuttering was atrocious. In fact, there was a lot of glitchy nonsense going on with like talking to NPCs in the stations and whatnot. There was this sort of like epilepsy-inducing flashing that happened with like textures freaking out. I don't know what was going on, and that was just like the last straw for me. It was just unbearable to look at, and that's when I refunded the game. But that's not there anymore. That's not there, so that's handy. Now I've got to remember, like, these things feel pretty big. I got to remember how to get to the buildable area. Well, I'll show you the bridge first, because it's all fairly cool, I think. Here we go. So you just come up here and you hire the freighter from here. That's the captain. I wonder if he's got anything to say. I'd be surprised if he does. Any options? What's he got for us? Yeah, we've already got him though. Make offer on freighter, but don't I already have the freighter? Access to buildable basin. Is this someone else's freighter maybe? I think I've just bought someone else's freighter. Maybe? Yeah? Okay. That's fine, whatever. Just for the sake of doing this quickly, it doesn't matter. Let's go build a thing. Let's go build a thing. All right, here we go. Right at the back here. So that's where we came from. Right through here will be our buildable area. There we go. So what can you actually do here? You can make it look nice, I guess. So. Look, you can't build everything that you can build on the ground here, but you know we can put down a market if we want. We can make a double story section here, put some ladders up there. All right, we'll go up here. As you can see, it's all super easy. Now keep in mind this is creative mode, so we're not dealing with resources or anything like that. Special terminals, right? So you can only build one each of these. So we've already got the construction and weapons terminal down on the planet. But we can build the other two right here. What was this? Science terminal? Limited to one per room. Specialist. Oh, okay. We can only have one. All right. No, that's fine. That's fine. So we can hire an NPC and put him there and I guess research, you know, agricultural hydroponics sort of stuff if we want. Not that matters because again we're in creative mode, so we already got everything. But you know, we can do farming here. Pretty much the I guess the two main things you would use a freighter for in terms of the whole buildable area thing is farming and storage. You know, I really like how simple it is to build, which I guess ties into, you know, the double-edged sword of that is, you know, it is simple to build, but it's also kind of simple in function, you know, which is fine. So look, I understand the irony. I appreciate the irony that it's like this. Actually, I had a little bit of a laugh over this. It was a game about exploration and not being tied down. And the first big update they release is, you know, focused on being tied down. Which is, you know, it's pretty wild. It is kind of funny. So, that's what I was talking about before where, you know, it's like, it's kind of an entirely new direction. And this is called the Foundation update. For those who don't know, who've like, this is the first they've heard of it. the first they've seen of it. The Foundation update, the meaning behind that is twofold. Not only is there, now bases to build, hence Foundation, but it's also the foundation supposedly for a whole bunch of extra free big updates. It's going to change a lot of stuff, which I'm interested to see. But I would encourage people, if you haven't bought the game or if you refunded it and you're looking to buy it again, I would encourage you not to buy it based on future updates, because they're being purposely very tight-lipped about what they're going to include, because I think they're a little bit skittish about the release of the game, and they don't want to give away any information that might change later and then get crucified all over again for it, which is understandable, but also give us a little bit of information. That'd be nice. But even though they came through with this update, and they did say right after launch that they were going to include base building, and did anyone believe them? I sure as hell didn't. So this is a huge surprise to me, even though they basically said, yes, this is exactly what they were doing. Even though they've come through with this update, don't buy into it until it's rock solid. Which is something I would say, for most things, barring a few developers that have just bought so much goodwill, they can get away with a little bit of blind trust. Just hang out and see what else is involved. But if this alone is enough to make you really excited, then yeah, especially if it's on sale, I don't think $60 is an appropriate price. I do believe that is too much. But $30 I think is kind of the sweet spot. $20 I feel is a steal. For me personally, I understand these value proposition sort of arguments are all subjective. But there you go, guys. There you go. I'm not going to prattle on any further. I've shown you what I wanted to show you. I would like to play around with survival mode. Apparently it's really brutal. I'll toy around with the idea of putting that up in some videos. We'll see how we go. If I'm enjoying it enough, I'd love to do that. Something new, something a little bit relaxed. In closing, it's not the game we were promised. It's not. I don't think it ever will be. And based on this update, I think it's going to be, even when it turns into this big, grand, fantastic thing, it's going to be a lot different. It really is. Which could be interesting. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to gently caress that like button. It needs love like everything does. Taste the game, be excellent to each other, and I'll see you next time. Roleplay Gamer, out.